Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that often praises those who speak the loudest. But the real magic, my friend, is in the quiet moments when we choose to listen and observe. Talk less, observe more. It is not a command, it is a gentle invitation to slow down, to breathe, and to truly understand what is happening around us. Talk less to hear the whispers of the world. In the quiet moments of life, when you choose to pause your own voice and let the world speak, you begin to see the world in a way that most people miss. It is like stepping into a secret garden of insight, a place where every rustle of leaves, every flicker of light, and every unspoken word carries a meaning that can shape the way you live and lead. When you choose to talk less, you create a space for listening, not just hearing the noise of the world, but truly listening. You hear the subtle notes in someone's laughter, the gentle tremble in their voice when they are scared, and the unspoken dreams in their eyes. You hear the rhythm of the city and the pulse of the countryside. You hear the truth that lives in the silence. Talking less is an act of respect. It shows that you value what others have to say, that you are willing to step back and make room for their voices. It is how you build bridges of trust and understanding. When people feel truly heard, they feel seen. And when they feel seen, they open up. They share their stories, their fears, their hopes, things they might have kept hidden if you had not given them the space to be heard. In the moments when you choose to talk less, you also find freedom from the burden of always having to prove something. You do not have to be the loudest voice in the room to be the wisest. You do not have to fill the air with words to show you understand. Sometimes your silence is the strongest statement you can make. It says, I am here. I am listening. I am learning. Observation is not passive. It is powerful. It is an active choice to engage with the world in a deeper way. It requires patience, curiosity, and the humility to admit that you do not have all the answers. It asks you to see the world not through the lens of your own thoughts, but through the eyes of others. To look beyond the surface and find the stories underneath. This habit of talking less and observing more will transform you. It will open your heart to the experiences of others and open your mind to the possibilities around you. It will help you see the lessons in every failure and the opportunities in every challenge. You will begin to notice patterns in the chaos and find beauty in the ordinary. When you talk less, you let the world become your teacher. You become a student of life, and life never stops teaching. It will show you who you are and what you can become. It will teach you how to be gentle when the world is harsh, how to stand firm when everything is shaking, and how to find light in the darkest times. So, talk less to hear the whispers of the world. Let the noise fade away. Let the silence speak. In that stillness you will find not only the voices of others, but also the voice of your own soul. It is there, waiting for you to listen. It is there, waiting for you to grow. Observation brings clarity to every situation. In the hustle and noise of everyday life, clarity often feels like a rare and precious thing. It is easy to get lost in the swirl of opinions, advice, and distractions. When you pause and observe, the fog begins to lift. You start to see what is real and what is just noise. It is like cleaning a dusty window and finally being able to see the world outside. Observation is a way of stepping back and allowing your mind to settle. It is like taking a breath after a long run. When you are in a rush, you only see what is directly in front of you. But when you slow down, you see the whole picture. You notice the small details that make all the difference, the quiet expressions on someone's face, the patterns in the way things unfold, and the clues that tell you more than any spoken word ever could. Clarity is not something that happens by accident. It is a choice you make when you decide to be present and aware. It means being willing to let go of your assumptions and really see what is there. It means asking questions, not just to others, but to yourself. What is really happening here? What am I missing? What is this situation trying to tell me? When you become an observer, you start to see the threads that connect everything. You see how one small choice can lead to a chain reaction of events. You see how the way you speak to someone can shape the way they see themselves. You see how even in the smallest actions there is a story waiting to be told. This kind of clarity does not come from being loud or trying to force your way through life. It comes from taking a step back and listening to the world around you. It is about noticing the quiet moments when no one else is paying attention. It is about seeing the truth that hides behind the surface of things. Observation is not about judging or deciding what is right or wrong. It is about gathering information, understanding the situation from every angle, and then making your move from a place of strength. It is about being patient enough to let the pieces fall into place before you act. The beauty of observation is that it gives you power without noise. It gives you the ability to see beyond the obvious and find solutions that others miss. It allows you to be the calm in the storm, the person who can see the path forward when everyone else is lost in confusion. There's a certain kind of wisdom that comes only from watching and learning. It is the kind of wisdom that cannot be rushed or forced. It grows slowly, like a tree taking root in the earth. It becomes a part of who you are, a steady presence in a world that is always changing. When you observe, you also learn to trust your own instincts. You begin to see patterns and connections that others overlook. You start to feel a quiet confidence, knowing that you are not just reacting to the world but understanding it. You are not just a part of the noise, you are the one who listens and sees. Clarity is a gift that observation brings. It is a quiet strength that shines through even when you are not saying a word. It is the ability to look at a situation and know what matters and what does not. It is the courage to stand still and let the truth reveal itself. In every room you walk into, in every conversation you have, clarity is waiting for you. It is there in the way someone's eyes shift when they are unsure. It is there in the way the wind moves through the trees or the way a smile can hide 1,000 worries. It is there in the quiet moments when you choose to see, to really see, what is unfolding around you. By observing, you see beyond the surface. Life has a way of dressing everything up in bright colors and loud noises. But if you are patient enough to observe, you begin to see the truth beneath the show. It is easy to get caught up in what people want you to see, the confident words, the polished smiles, the stories told to impress. But observation peels back the layers and lets you glimpse the quiet, unspoken truths that live underneath. When you observe deeply, you start to notice the small details that others miss. You see how someone's hands fidget when they are unsure, how their voice wavers when they talk about something that matters to them, how they lean in or pull away depending on what they feel. These are the signs that reveal the true state of things, the silent messages that words often try to cover up. Seeing beyond the surface is not about suspicion or doubt. It is about curiosity and a genuine desire to understand. It is about giving yourself permission to look past what is presented and to see what is real. In a world that moves quickly and prizes appearances, observation is your quiet rebellion, a choice to slow down and look closer. This deeper seeing also applies to how you understand situations and experiences. On the surface, things might seem simple, even obvious, but when you take the time to observe, you begin to see the hidden connections, the quiet patterns that shape what is happening. You see how a small decision can ripple out to create a wave of change, how a single word can echo in someone's heart long after it has been spoken. Observation is how you learn to see not just the moment, but the story behind it. It is how you begin to understand that people's actions are shaped by their past, their fears, and their hopes. You see the child in the grown-up, the uncertainty behind the confidence, the kindness that lives quietly in even the hardest of hearts. This kind of seeing transforms the way you move through the world. It makes you more compassionate, more open, and more aware. It is also a way of seeing yourself more clearly. When you observe how you react to the world, you begin to understand your own patterns. You see what excites you, what scares you, and what triggers your defenses. You start to recognize the stories you tell yourself, the ways you hide, and the truths you have been too afraid to face. This is not always easy, but it is how you grow. It is how you learn to live with more honesty and more courage. In every interaction, in every moment, there is something waiting to be seen. The way a friend looks at you when they think you are not watching. The way the air feels before a storm. The way a stranger's kindness can change the course of a day. These are the details that give life its depth, the quiet wonders that turn ordinary moments into something extraordinary. By observing, you also learn the power of patience. You see that not everything needs to be understood right away, that some truths take time to reveal themselves. You learn to trust the process, to let things unfold at their own pace. You stop trying to force answers and start waiting for them to come in their own time. This kind of seeing is a gift that grows with practice. It asks you to be present, to put aside your distractions and really notice what is happening around you. It is a way of honoring the complexity of life, of saying that you are willing to see not just the bright surface, but also the quiet depths. It is in this quiet seeing that you find the richest lessons, the ones that change the way you see yourself and the world. You discover that there is always more to a moment than what meets the eye, that every person, every experience, holds a story worth knowing. You learn that to truly live is to see, to notice, and to honor what lies beyond the surface. Every person and moment is a hidden teacher. The world is a vast classroom, full of lessons waiting to be discovered, if you only take the time to notice them. Often we think that teachers are found in lecture halls or in books, but the real teachers are the people you meet every day and the experiences you live through. Each encounter, no matter how brief, carries within it the potential to open your mind and shape your understanding of life. Sometimes the most profound lessons come from the most unexpected places. A stranger you pass on the street can show you a new perspective with just a smile or a kind word. A friend who listens without judgment can teach you the power of empathy and trust. Even a moment of failure can become a teacher, showing you not what you lack, but what you are capable of overcoming. These hidden teachers are not always obvious. They do not always announce themselves with grand gestures or inspiring speeches. Often they speak in quiet ways, in the way someone shares their story, in the way they handle disappointment, in the way they keep moving forward even when it is hard. Their lessons are not written in books, but in the lines of their faces and the choices they make. Every moment has something to teach you if you are willing to learn. A moment of laughter can remind you of the simple joys that make life worth living. A moment of silence can teach you the value of peace. Even the challenges that test your patience and strength are teachers, showing you where you still have room to grow and how deep your resilience really goes. When you begin to see every person and moment as a teacher, you start to live with more curiosity and openness. You stop seeing life as something to conquer and start seeing it as something to explore. You realize that you do not have to have all the answers right away. You can let life unfold and trust that the lessons you need will come to you in their own time. This way of living transforms the way you relate to others. You stop seeing people as obstacles or competitors, and start seeing them as fellow travelers on the journey of learning. You begin to listen more deeply, to watch more closely, and to appreciate the wisdom that lives in every heart you meet. You understand that everyone you meet is fighting their own battles and carrying their own dreams, and that there is always something you can learn from them. It is a humbling thing to realize that the world is full of teachers. It reminds you that you are never done learning, never too old or too wise to grow. It shows you that even in the smallest moments there are opportunities to expand your mind and open your heart. In the end, these hidden teachers help you become a better version of yourself. They challenge you to see beyond your own perspective, to question what you think you know, and to embrace the uncertainty that comes with true learning. They teach you that wisdom is not about having all the answers, but about being willing to keep asking the questions. This is a lifelong practice, one that asks you to stay awake and aware, to see every interaction as a chance to learn something new. It is a way of living that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, the mundane into something sacred. It is a reminder that life is always speaking to you, always offering you the chance to grow and change. When you embrace this way of seeing the world, you find that even the hardest days have something to teach you. You begin to trust that every person you meet, every experience you have, is shaping you into someone wiser, kinder, and more whole. You learn to move through life with a sense of wonder and gratitude, knowing that there is always more to see, more to learn, and more to become. Listening reveals truths. Words cannot. In a world where everyone is in a hurry to speak and be heard, true listening is a rare gift. When you truly listen not just to the words but to the tone, the pauses, and the emotions that dance between the sentences, you begin to hear the truths that people often leave unspoken. There is so much more to a conversation than what is said. The silences, the hesitations, the things that are left hanging in the air, they all carry weight and meaning that words alone can never fully express. When you listen with your whole heart, you step into a place of understanding that goes far beyond the surface. You see the worries hidden in someone's voice, the excitement that lights up their eyes, and the pain they try to hide behind a polite smile. You hear the struggle in their sighs, and the hope in their laughter. It is in these moments of true listening that you find the raw, unpolished truth of who someone is and what they are trying to tell you. Listening is not just about waiting for your turn to speak. It is about letting go of your own agenda, even for a moment, to make space for another person's story. It is about being present, not distracted by your own thoughts or judgments, but fully engaged in what is being shared. It is a quiet, steady act of care, one that can build bridges and heal wounds in ways that talking never could. When you listen deeply, you also learn how to read between the lines. You hear the tremor in someone's voice when they are afraid, the soft edge of longing in a simple sentence, the quiet triumph in a casual comment. You begin to see that everyone carries a world within them, a world of memories, dreams, fears, and hopes that is often too big to fit into neat sentences. These worlds reveal themselves not to those who demand answers, but to those who wait patiently and listen. The truths that words cannot hold are often the ones that matter most. They are the feelings that someone struggles to put into words, the thoughts they hesitate to share, the stories they are not sure how to tell. They are the quiet confessions that slip out in a laugh or a sigh. These truths are precious, and they are given only to those who have the patience and the compassion to hear them. Listening is an art that requires more than just your ears. It asks for your attention, your empathy, and your willingness to see the world through someone else's eyes. It asks you to set aside your own need to be heard, even if just for a while, so that someone else can be seen and known. It is an act of humility, a way of saying, your voice matters, your story matters. I am here to hear it. When you choose to listen in this way, you create a space of trust and safety. You let someone know that they are not alone, that their feelings are valid, and that their story deserves to be heard. In that space, something powerful happens. People begin to open up. They share the parts of themselves that they usually keep hidden. They speak truths that they did not even know they had within them. The more you listen, the more you understand. You start to see the patterns in people's stories, the echoes of their pasts, and the hopes that shape their future. You begin to realize that listening is not just about understanding others. It is about learning how to be more human, more connected, and more alive. In every conversation, there is a chance to listen. In every moment of silence, there is a chance to hear what is not being said. These are the moments that shape us, the moments that teach us how to love and how to lead. Listening is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It is in those quiet moments of listening that we find the truths that words alone cannot hold. Quiet moments build stronger connections. In the constant buzz of modern life, where every second seems to demand our attention, and every conversation feels like a race to be heard, the power of quiet moments is often overlooked. Yet it is in these calm, unspoken spaces that some of the most profound connections are formed. They are the moments when words are not needed, when a simple look or a shared silence can say more than 1,000 sentences ever could. When you allow for quiet moments in your interactions with others, you create a space where honesty can grow. People feel safe to be themselves, to drop the masks they wear in louder, more demanding situations. In the gentle hush of these pauses, hearts begin to speak in ways that are truer and deeper. There is no pressure to impress. No need to fill every gap with chatter. Instead, there is an understanding that sometimes being together in the silence is enough. These quiet moments are like bridges that connect souls. They are built not from words but from presence. They remind us that true connection does not always require explanation or justification. It requires patience, respect, and the courage to sit in the unknown without rushing to define it. When you share a quiet moment with someone, you are saying without words that you are here with them fully, willing to feel whatever it is that needs to be felt. In these silences, you begin to see beyond the surface. You notice the small shifts in someone's expression, the way their eyes soften when they feel understood, the way their shoulders relax when they no longer need to defend their heart. These are the signs of a connection that is real and lasting, built on a foundation of quiet understanding. Quiet moments also teach you how to be patient, how to let go of the need to control every conversation or outcome. They show you that sometimes the best way to support someone is simply to be there, to hold the space for them to find their own words or to sit with their own feelings. This is a gift that cannot be bought or forced. It is earned by your willingness to be present and open, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. These moments of quiet connection have a way of revealing what truly matters. They strip away the noise and the distractions, leaving only the simple, honest truth of two people sharing a space. They remind you that at the heart of every relationship is the need to be seen and known, not through grand declarations, but through the small, everyday acts of listening and understanding. When you learn to value these quiet moments, you begin to see that they are not empty at all. They are full of meaning and depth, filled with the kind of intimacy that cannot be rushed or forced. They are the moments that stay with you long after the conversation has ended, the memories you carry with you in your heart. Quiet moments are also where you find your own strength. In the stillness, you hear your own thoughts more clearly, and you discover the courage to show up authentically. You learn that you do not always need to have the right words or the perfect response. Sometimes all that is needed is your quiet presence, your willingness to be there fully and without distraction. In a world that often confuses noise with power, these quiet moments are a gentle reminder that real strength is found in listening, in waiting, and in the deep trust that grows when words fall away. They are the spaces where true understanding begins and where real, lasting connections take root. These are the moments that teach us how to love more fully, how to live more deeply, and how to honor the silent threads that bind us all together. Silent observation helps you learn from every experience. In the rush of life, it is easy to let moments slip by without really noticing them. But when you choose to be quiet and watch, you unlock the secret lessons hidden in every experience. The world has so much to teach, and most of it is not found in loud lectures or endless words. It is found in the small, almost invisible details that whisper their stories to those who are paying attention. Silent observation is not about being passive or disconnected. It is an active choice to be fully present. It means letting your eyes and your mind soak in the world around you without the need to rush to judgment or offer an opinion. It is like standing in a garden, watching the way the light shifts through the leaves, the way the flowers bend in the breeze, and the way everything has its own rhythm and grace. In that stillness, you learn more than you ever could in a crowded room of voices. Every experience, no matter how ordinary it seems, has something to offer. When you observe, you begin to notice how people move, how they react, and how they carry their stories with them. You see the way someone's hands fidget when they are nervous, the way their shoulders relax when they feel safe, the way they light up when they talk about something they love. These small observations give you insight into what matters to them and how they see the world. You also learn from your own reactions. When you observe quietly, you begin to notice the thoughts and feelings that rise within you. You see how you are quick to judge in some situations and patient in others. You notice what stirs your curiosity and what makes you uneasy. This kind of self-awareness is a powerful teacher, showing you not only how to understand others, but also how to understand yourself. Silent observation helps you see the patterns that shape every experience. You start to recognize the ways people build trust, the signs of respect and disrespect, the small moments of kindness that can change everything. You see how problems grow when they are ignored, and how solutions often begin with a single act of care. These lessons are there for anyone willing to watch and learn. In a world that often celebrates loud voices and quick opinions, choosing to observe silently can feel like an act of rebellion. It is a way of saying that you do not need to shout to be strong, that you do not need to have all the answers to be wise. It is a quiet kind of courage, one that allows you to see the truth without trying to control it. This kind of learning shapes who you become. It gives you the ability to walk into any room and feel the energy, to understand what is needed before a single word is spoken. It teaches you how to build relationships that are rooted in respect and trust, because you have taken the time to see and understand what lies beneath the surface. Silent observation also connects you to the world in a deeper way. It reminds you that you are part of something bigger, that every person you meet is a part of a larger story. It shows you how to find meaning in the smallest details, and how to carry those lessons with you wherever you go. There is a certain kind of wisdom that grows in the quiet of observation. It is the wisdom of those who are willing to watch and wait, who understand that every experience has something to teach if you are willing to be still long enough to learn. In this way, silent observation becomes a practice, a way of life that allows you to gather the richness of every moment and carry it forward into everything you do. True wisdom grows in the quiet spaces. In a world that often shouts for attention, it is easy to forget that some of the greatest insights come not from the loudest voices, but from the stillness we create within ourselves. When you allow yourself to step away from the noise and sit in silence, you begin to hear the gentle wisdom that has been waiting for you all along. These are the moments when the mind clears, the heart opens, and the truth begins to reveal itself in ways you never expected. Quiet spaces are not always easy to find. They require you to slow down, to let go of the urge to always be moving, always be doing. But when you find them, even in the smallest of moments, you discover a kind of peace that speaks more powerfully than any words could. In these spaces, you can see the world with new eyes, without the filter of your worries or the noise of other people's opinions. Wisdom does not always announce itself with fanfare. It often comes as a soft nudge, a quiet knowing that settles in your chest like a calm sea. It is the voice that tells you to be patient when you are restless, to stay steady when everything around you is uncertain. It is the understanding that not everything needs to be solved right away, that some things need time to grow and unfold at their own pace. And in the quiet spaces, you also learn to trust yourself. You begin to see that wisdom is not something you find outside of yourself. It is something you uncover within. It grows from the choices you make, from the way you treat others, from the way you learn to forgive and begin again. It is in the small acts of kindness, the gentle moments of courage, and the quiet strength that comes from knowing who you are. This kind of wisdom is not about being perfect or always knowing what to do. It is about listening, really listening, to the world around you and to the voice that lives in your own heart. It is about seeing the lessons in your failures as clearly as you see them in your successes. It is about knowing that every experience, every challenge, every quiet moment has something to teach you if you are willing to pay attention. When you find these quiet spaces, you also begin to see the beauty in the things you once overlooked. The way the sun breaks through the clouds after a storm. The way a stranger's kindness can change the course of your day. The way a simple breath can bring you back to yourself when the world feels overwhelming. These are the moments that remind you that life is not about constant noise and constant movement, but about being present and alive to the world in all its complexity and wonder. True wisdom grows in these spaces because they allow you to see more clearly. They help you sift through the clutter and find what really matters. They teach you to be patient, to be open, and to trust that even when things are unclear, there is always a path forward waiting to be found. In the quiet, you learn to listen not just to what is happening around you, but to what is happening within you. This practice of finding quiet spaces is not just for the mind, it is for the soul too. It is how you learn to move through the world with grace, to hold yourself with compassion, and to see others with a kind and open heart. It is how you learn to let go of the need to prove yourself and simply be in all your imperfect human beauty. The more you make space for these quiet moments, the more you see how rich and full life can be. You begin to understand that wisdom is not something you achieve or conquer. It is something you live moment by moment, breath by breath. It grows in the spaces where you stop trying to force answers and start listening for them instead. It is in these quiet spaces that you find the courage to be yourself, the clarity to see the world as it is, and the strength to keep moving forward even when the path is uncertain.